We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokémon. And we succeeded.
Back to another episode of Another Pokemon Podcast. My name is Becs.
And my name is Galutrad.
And today we're going to be talking about Pokemon, the first movie. Yeah, we're going to be talking about one of probably the most beloved Pokemon movies. I mean, it has to be the most beloved
I would
Pokemon
think so.
movie.
It came out at the height of Pokemania.
Yeah.
It, I think, is the only movie to have gotten a remake, which is, I don't know. It is literally the first movie.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it is a big deal for Pokemon.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. I think probably we can start with, we can either start with I crafted just a little summary for anybody that hasn't seen it or wants to know a little bit more about it before we dive in. But I'd love to talk about like our experiences with the first movie and then we can dive into the actual grit of the movie.
Yeah.
But before we get started on that, even though I tried to take you out with Earl Grey tea, how are you?
I'm doing well. Your tea is good, even though it might not be exactly like how like the baristas make it. You did it. It tastes fine. It doesn't taste like anything super sweet, but it's nice. It's more than tea, but it's not what you were going for, which is milk tea.
I tried to make milk tea and I tried to use non-fat milk, which I'm sure we talked about it, like some things we can do to try to perfect it. But it's not great.
It's really just like tea with watered down milk, which is what non-fat milk is.
Like, yeah.
And then like sweet, simple syrup. So it's interesting. It's not bad though. It's drinkable. It's fine.
It's
just not,
caffeine.
It's just not what you were hoping for.
No.
How about you? How are you doing? I made you a delicious Japanese style curry.
Yeah, you win. You win the prize.
I do.
Yes, Galutrad makes phenomenal curry and he got a new rice cooker and it was chef's kiss. It was potatoes and Spam and carrots and not
scallions.
onions.
No, yeah, scallions because the onion.
Because the onion problems. But yeah, I'm doing good. I've not been playing a ton of games.
I haven't either. Well, that's not true. I've been playing a lot of the Nintendo playtest, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
I am trying, as you know, but I'm not sure anyone else knows. I also, as much as I love video games, I love reading.
yes.
And I am determined to finish a book challenge that I've made for myself this year because I have never finished a book challenge. I can't do multiple hobbies at one time.
Yeah.
I have to pick one.
Which I find really cute and endearing about you because I like watching you hop around from like being obsessed with a TV show to being obsessed with a game to being obsessed with a book.
Which I do.
Yeah.
And normally I can do like two hobbies. I can do like right now I've got a couple shows I'm watching. Ranma 1/2, the new remake, and some reality TV shows like Love is Blind. But I have been trying to finish my book challenge, so I have not been playing a lot of video games. We did do some gaming. We were just on vacation visiting family and friends, and we did just do some gaming while we were there. We played
tabletop gaming.
We did some tabletop gaming, but we also did a little bit of heave ho and some kind of party type games, Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we've done some gaming here and there. I guess you've done gaming for streaming for sure.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of in a little bit of a funk, but not in too much of a funk to watch a Pokemon movie that we both love.
Yeah, not
that
at
made
all.
me cry
Yes,
8 times.
I teared up a little bit as well, which is not common for me.
Oh yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, but before we jump into the actual lunch meat of the episode,
Ew.
the sandwich meat of the episode.
What a weird way to say that.
Oh Lord. We should dive into some listener feedback.
Yeah, we always appreciate getting listener feedback from y'all. And so, Bex, how about you start?
Okay, yeah, I'll start. So over on Spotify, we got a comment from the user Another Pokémon, which we have received, I think, a review from that person before.
We've heard from them several times, and we love hearing from you.
Oh yeah, so we've received feedback from them before.
Yeah.
And they just said, "Yay, new Pokemon podcast."
Yeah.
Which we echo that yay. We are very excited still to be here, which is I feel like that means that we're really in the right place is in where we should be with this podcast, because I go, I just work, do I have to work more? A little bit, but as soon as we get started on the show, I'm like, oh yeah, Pokemon, this is a fun job.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
So yeah, thank you Another Hylian Pokenerd.
Thank you so much.
Shout out again for that awesome name. And then over on Instagram, over on our I Am Blaze Knuff episode, Holly Sutter Taylor said, Vulpix is the absolute cutest! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I love him too! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, and 4 fire emojis. Great taste, Holly Sutter Taylor.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, you definitely do. You definitely do. And I like Vulpix too. I'm more of a Ninetales fan, but I do like Vulpix.
No, I think Vulpix and Ninetales are both awesome, as we discussed. We love both of them. So great taste. Do you want to read the last two? Yeah, sure. Also over on Instagram from Leor back 1992. Leor says, "Hi guys, this is Leor," which I think he was poking fun of us last time for reading his comment because we were trying to figure out how to say your name. So hopefully we got it correct this time since you so kindly spelled it out for us. It's like Rebel Audie all over again.
It is. You're going to be our Rebel Audie. And then a little winking face emoji. So love that you were poking fun at us too. We love that. Another great episode. Love how you delve into each type. Both lists were awesome, but maybe you were a bit tough on Charizard. And then the like sweating smiley and a fire type emoji. And yeah, we might have been a little bit tough on Charizard.
It's not that it is, I want to make it clear because I do the same thing with the yellow rat. It's not that we don't love Charizard and Pikachu, and Eevee is even starting to get a little bit like that. It's just that they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. It's really like, I feel bad for anyone whose favorite Pokemon is Charmander or Charmeleon, because you just don't get merch for them like you do Charizard.
Charizard was like an icon.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I think Bulbasaur was kind of the icon for like the baby starters.
Ones.
Yeah. But yeah. No, we love Charizard. Sorry about that.
No, yeah, absolutely. Leor goes on to say, also, maybe after you cover all 18 types, you should review and rank each generation. I stopped after Unova, and then like a shy face, but I'd love to be convinced to continue. That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. And Leor, you are among friends, because there's just something about Sun and Moon where I didn't stop at Unova, but when I picked up Sun and Moon, you know this, I did not play very long. I will say we will still rank. I think that's a great idea to rank the generations. I will say that once it becomes truly 3D, especially with Scarlet and Violet, I think that's an easy sell, is just getting to actually experience that open world 3Dness. Yeah. There's such a wide variety of things to do in Scarlet and Violet that I do think you would enjoy that one. But I feel you on that. And how do you know we're going to do all 18 types?
Gee, I wonder.
How do you know that, Leo?
No, everyone heard on the last episode that like there are a lot of games that you and I both either started and just didn't finish, or just didn't play at all.
Or it's been forever
since we played. And just like AZP, like we're all fans of Pokemon here. Some of us have different levels of fandom, and that's okay. No matter where you're in to the Pokemon community, you're welcome here.
In the fandom, we all fan.
That's right. So yeah, thank you so much for your comment over on Instagram. And then finally, we have another 5-star Apple Podcast review. Yay! This one comes from Sprigatito Lover, which, hey, I see you, Sprigatito Lover. Shout out to Pokemon Horizons. And it says, amazing pod. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah. Oh, that made me.
What does Sprigatito Lover have to do with Horizon?
So Pokemon Horizons, there's a podcast or like a YouTube show is kind of, it's not YouTube, obviously, because it's a Pokemon. They can't reference YouTube, but it's like YouTube.
Okay.
Poketube. Yeah, Poketube. Great. And Nido Thing hosts the show, and the main character of Pokemon Horizons, Liko, is a huge fan of Nido Thing.
Okay.
And comments on the episodes of Nido Thing's show, and her username, because she got Sprigatito, is Sprigatito Lover.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying that because Sprigatito's in the show.
No, yeah, it's a direct reference to the show.
Okay, cute.
So shout out to who I can only imagine is Liko from Pokemon Horizons.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Listening to our podcast too. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who left us comments, messages, Apple Podcast and Spotify reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It really helps us out when you leave, especially a 5-star Apple Podcast review, but any sort of interaction with us on socials. Mm-hmm. We love hearing from you. You can reach out to us on any social media. That's Blue Sky, X, Threads, Instagram, TikTok at Another PKMN Pod. Mm-hmm. Or you can leave, like I said, leave those reviews on your podcast player of choice, or you can check out anotherpokemonpodcast.com and leave comments right on the episode pages.
Yep.
So anywhere you want to reach for us, you should be able to find us, and we love hearing from you.
Yep, we sure do. I literally almost cried a second ago reading some feedback. So,
Yeah,
in a good way.
In a good way. It really touches our hearts when we consider everybody that is part of the Another Pokemon Podcast community like friends. So yeah, we love hearing
friends of the cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do really appreciate that. And now we're going to jump into the just brief summary. Before we jump into the actual like details of the movie, we'll talk a little bit about the fun of being a kid when this movie came out.
Yeah.
As someone aptly pointed out, the millennial perspective of Pokemania, which will forever haunt me, but that's okay. I loved it anyway. So for those of you that don't know, Pokemon the first movie, which released first in Japan on July 18th, 1998, and then later in the US on November 6th, 1999, was appropriately named first feature film about the world of Pokemon. Releasing during the first years of Pokemania, the film made over $163 million worldwide, and it is still to date the second highest grossing Pokemon film, only topped by Detective Pikachu.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it also, like, I don't think that accounts for like inflation or anything
probably
like that.
not.
Yeah. But yeah, it is still with all the other things that have come out, it is still the second highest grossing film. In this movie, we follow Ash, Misty, Brock, Pikachu, and the rest of the gang as they navigate through a deadly storm to an invitation-only event on a mysterious island. Someone claiming to be the world's greatest Pokemon trainer has seen what Ash can do and wants him to join other powerful trainers for a gathering. The team soon finds out that the invite was sent out by a powerful Pokemon named Mewtwo, who seeks to wipe out humanity and any Pokemon that they have partnered with. But before wiping them out, he plans to clone the Pokemon that the trainers have brought with them, creating superior versions of them as he himself was created. After some initial attempts at battling Mewtwo's previously created clones, Mewtwo succeeds in capturing and cloning all of the Pokemon for himself. In his quest to rescue Pikachu, Ash accidentally breaks the cloning machine, and the original Pokemon are freed. A great battle ensues between Pokemon and their clones, including Mew and Mewtwo, and the end seems bleak and nigh. Pikachu is the only exception and refuses to fight because he doesn't want to hurt his clone. Inspired by this, Ash risks his own life by interrupting a blast of power between Mew and Mewtwo and falls. The Pokemon, ashamed of what they've done and hurt by the pain Pikachu feels, begin to cry, and their love and tears heal Ash back to health. Mewtwo, surprised by the love between Ash and Pikachu, realizes what he has done and has a change of heart. Mew and Mewtwo leave with the cloned Pokemon to find a safe haven, and as they do, Mewtwo uses his psychic powers to wipe Ash and the other trainers and Pokemon's memories and safely return them off of the island. The journey ends as Ash sees Mew flying through the sky.
That was an amazing summary of the movie. I've got goosebumps a little bit. Like, I feel like I just watched it again.
You did.
Yeah.
No, I I worked hard on that because I wanted to give like I actually I don't know if you realized how much later it released to North America from Japan.
No, I did not.
But that's over a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is I guess the games, I think there's like a year.
There's 2 years actually. I'm pretty sure Pokemon in Japan on like the Game Boy released in 1996.
Okay.
And then
It might have been late 96.
the initial release of Pokemon on the Game Boy was February 27th, 1996. And then in America, I believe it released in 1998.
Very interesting. And also the fact that it's the second highest grossing Pokemon movie still, which I don't know how many of them had official movie theater releases.
Not many of them.
Okay.
In fact, I think after the 4th movie, if they did, it was like not
it was like select theaters only kind of thing.
It was a very small release. A lot like how a lot of nowadays it's a little bit different, but like there's a lot of anime movies that get released in theaters.
The My Hero movie.
Yeah, where it's like you don't see it everywhere, but
No.
if you watch the show, you know probably that it's coming to theaters near you.
Yeah.
So I imagine it was kind of like that. I do know in reference to the anime that in Japan did actually get a series of episodes that gave more reference to the Mewtwo, the movie where Giovanni was training Mewtwo. In the movie, it's a kind of like a, what is it called when a montage of training for Mewtwo. But there are anime episodes where that actually happens, but they never got translated to America because by the time they were ready to release the movie, they hadn't finished translating the episodes in English. So they're just like, just scrap it.
Well, there's also, for this movie, there's also apparently like an extended version.
Yeah, where you learn about like Mewtwo's birth along with as like a child almost, along with the I think along with like a Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, I believe.
Yeah, which
I haven't never
sense.
seen it. But
I haven't either. I did see there's a couple people that have posted it on like TikTok in like pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we could find it, but then the problem becomes I don't speak fluent Japanese and it's not translated and there's no subtitles. But yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to share that just in case there's anybody that hasn't seen the movie, or if there's someone that maybe they did see it but it was back in 99 and they don't recall like what it was about. That's like just the overall. There's like funny bits with Team Rocket that we'll get into, and like a couple other staple characters from the anime that you see along the way. Before we jump into the details of the movie and like kind of do like almost like a timeline, what I have heard this story and I love this story, but what was your experience like as a kid going to see this movie in the theaters?
Yeah, so I actually have a rather unique experience. So for Halloween, the year that this movie came out, or maybe the year before, my mom actually painstakingly over several months worked to craft me a custom Mew costume. I still have the headpiece for it that she made. Unfortunately, that's all that's left. But like she had made like a long tail that was attached that like would hook to the back of it near the neck. And this whole very homemade looking, but very cute. Obviously Mew. If you knew it was Mew, you would know. You wouldn't question it.
Do you have any pictures of you in it?
She might. I'm not sure if I do.
Okay.
Well, I know I don't, but she might. But so when we got to go see the movie, I, being a little kid, was like, well, I'm obviously going to wear my Mew costume to go see the Pokemon movie with Mew. And you remember they gave out the special promo cards with the ancient Mew.
Yeah.
So in doing that, I ended up, I think on our way in, we got like pictures. I want to say we were in like the paper. The Austin paper, because I believe, because again, Pokemania was so huge that, there were news channels there covering oh my gosh, so many kids are lined up during a school day to go see Pokemon. And I believe I ended up in the paper. And I also famously, for my mom, she loves telling the story about how we were sitting in the theater and I got up in front of all the people in the theater and walked down to the front of the theater and like kind of danced around around and waved, and the whole theater was like, "Look, Mom, look, it's Mew, it's Mew."
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was just, I've always, I guess I've just always been an entertainer, a ham, as some people say.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know, I don't think I knew
ate
about
it
that
up.
part.
Yeah, I ate it up. So it had a lot of fun with it. And I still have that, like I said, I still have that the headpiece for that costume and my ancient Mew card, and my mom made a shadow box for it. Unfortunately, it broke during the move, but I have all the pieces still. So I had a shadow. I think I've got a picture of it somewhere where it was put together. I'll try and dig it out. But I had a shadow box of the headpiece and the ancient Mew card and a regular promo Mew, I think from like the McDonald's.
Oh, wow.
Or
Okay.
something.
Okay.
So Mew is my favorite mythical Pokemon.
Yeah.
I love Mew. I've got a lot of Mew plushies and toys. You bought me a Mew or you built me a Mew little like figure thing.
I did, like a
which
little
was
model.
Very cute.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my story with Pokemon the first movie, is like experiencing it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Well, mine's I can't top that. Mine's not that exciting, but I do remember being so excited because I think he was either living with us or he was just visiting us like long term. But I have an older cousin who's like probably 10 years older than me, I think, named Will, and he took me and my little brother Scott to go see the movie, and we went to our little local town theater, so there wasn't a newscaster there.
Yeah.
But we went to our little local town theater, and we got the cool Pokemon movie snack boxes.
Oh, that's cool.
That had like popcorn and like a little spot for your little cup. And then it might have come with something else like candy or some kind of Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
But we sat in the front row and we had the best time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so good. I just remember being completely mesmerized by it. And then when Christmas rolled around, we got it on VHS, and boy, did that thing get played
I'm
all
sure.
the time. I don't know where it is now, or the VHS is now. You and I have the first 3 movies on DVD because I bought the collection. It came with a holographic Mewtwo card, and it came with a little coin of some kind, I think. Or no, that was Pokemon 2000. I think that came with the coin.
Okay.
But it did come with a little holographic Mewtwo card in it, which I thought was cool. My brother and I fought about it, and I said I'm the oldest, and I got it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, we saw that in theaters, and I just I remember being so happy and felt so grown up because I'm like, I'm going to the theaters without my parents. And it's like, my cousin was old enough to be my parent probably, but I just felt so grown up going to go see Pokemon and getting to do something I wanted to do that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And we had a great time. That's really it. That's all I've got for that. But it was a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It was absolutely the best of days.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. That's awesome. That's a great story.
Thanks. So now we get thrown right into the beginning of the movie, which is what I like to refer to as the creepy Land Before Time intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a very like, if you've ever seen Land Before Time, it's basically speaking to evolution of like water to land and to land dinosaurs basically.
Yeah.
And so it starts off in like this like kind of water, like cryptic kind of air bubbles scene, and you get to see Mew for the first time, but not for long. It's just it literally do be a Land Before Time intro of crypticness. And
then Mewtwo comes in with his voiceover.
Yeah, Mewtwo starts to he awakens and he's waking up and he is just perplexed by his existence and what his surroundings, because he's created a fully intelligent being, but he hasn't experienced life yet.
Well, and I take those scenes as Mewtwo can still feel his connection with Mew.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so he's like, because specifically he's like, I think he says something like, "Where am I? I should be out there," or "There's something out there where I should be." As it's like flashing between the scenes of like Mew and just the world outside.
I always took that quite literally because he says where I should be, and then he bursts out of his little holder.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that like he like, I think that's much to like how you had mentioned that there is technically like a pre part where he's like a child, and it's all, as I understand it, it all takes place in his mind.
Okay.
Psychically to the other Pokemon, he like builds that connection before they unfortunately don't make it through the cloning process.
Oh.
And it leaves him by himself. And so I think that is him like realizing through his connection with Mew that, wait, I'm not, so what am I? I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm not supposed to be in this testing facility.
Got it.
I need to get out.
Yeah.
And that intros us into him breaking out of his containment chamber.
Which is so creepy. And also I screamed. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
At this part, because I was wrong. We were wrong. I was for sure wrong. We got confirmation that was Fuji in the movie.
Yeah. Yes, we did. It's so all of the they do such a good job of this. All of the scientists have like that dark lit on their face with just like glowing yellow eyes, but you can tell that they're people and they're not like evil. But I mean, well, no, you can tell that they, from Mewtwo's perspective, they are the evil people here.
They're nefarious.
But you can very clearly see from that it is Fuji.
Yeah, no, not even you can see it.
Oh yeah, his name. They call him Dr. Fuji.
And the subtitles show Fuji speaking, and like it's confirmed, totally confirmed,
100%.
So Fuji for sure was part of that horrible decision, a horrible task of cloning Mew and creating Mewtwo and causing the havoc that was caused. I was pleasantly surprised by that, but because I did not realize we would have a concrete answer to that. I thought it was just a theory.
Yeah.
And then that is where the greatest line in cinematic history takes place, where so Mewtwo, he's like, why am I here? And it was like, and he's confused and he's got pain,
angry.
He's hurting, and he's angry. Shreds that lab up, and it goes down.
Yeah. Psychic explosions everywhere. No concern for human life or any life for that matter. Everything he wants to burn to rubble.
Yep. But that's where the line is, though, we dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokemon and we succeeded, which that line has
got chills.
It's haunted me for the whole time, like decades. Because it's actually, while we were watching it too, it's a pretty dark, kind of scary opening.
It is,
and I don't recall it being that.
No,
dark
I don't either.
As a kid,
yeah.
I
I think we were just in awe of Mewtwo.
Cool.
Yeah, like wow, this is the world's strongest Pokemon.
He tough.
They did it. Like we were like, yeah.
But yeah, so he takes out the lab. It is. We know from the games that Fuji clearly makes it out, but it is unclear how big the destruction is. You just see hints of it when you're playing the game, the Generation 1 game in Cinnabar. Mewtwo has destroyed the lab. He's left. He's still trying to figure out what his purpose is. And who should he stumble upon? But your favorite villain.
The big boss himself, Giovanni. Man comes in on a helicopter.
Father Giovanni
probably saw the explosion happen and still was like, you know what? I'm going there.
Yep.
My Pokemon is there.
Yep.
And swindles basically Mewtwo into working with him, into coming with him.
Yeah. He puts Mewtwo, I also call this Mewtwo's Elsa escape moment.
Yeah.
When he leaves. But before he leaves, Giovanni puts him into this almost Power Ranger looking suit. And Mewtwo's like, what heck, what this?
Yeah. I think only, just a little fun fact, that version of Mewtwo, I think the only time it's ever been made available is in Pokemon Go.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that that's a fun Easter egg.
Yeah.
But yeah, he puts in his Power Ranger suit. He's like, what heck, what this? And he's like, well, it's to enhance your powers, but also to control your powers.
Yeah.
Because Giovanni
knows.
He knows how strong he is. He knows that he's the ultimate Pokemon, and he would like to not have his lab burned down. He would like to live through this.
And part of it is probably also to like force control on Mewtwo as well. Not just to hinder it. He claim, like you said, he claims that it helps him focus his powers, but it will make him feel like he is less strong. But it probably also has some sort of like mind controls type thing to make him more tame to Giovanni.
Right. And I mean, it works for a while because we see that Mewtwo fights a lot of incredibly powerful Pokemon and just wipes them without even thinking about it, including Gary.
Yeah, which I pointed out to you while we were watching. Yeah,
Yep.
it was confirmed. It's confirmed. We see Gary fight Mewtwo with, I think it's Nidoqueen and Rhydon.
I think it's actually Nido
King
and there's an Arcanine there too.
Oh yes,
I think
yeah.
you just see him wipe out his whole team.
Yeah. And you see Mewtwo wipes out all. You see like him going up against a herd of Tauros that are all owned by rocket grunts.
Yep.
And he just lifts them all up
Takes
with
them all
the
out.
wave of his hand.
Yep.
So we get a little montage of Mewtwo showing how powerful he is.
Yeah.
And him like learning how powerful he is, because part of the whole conversation with Giovanni at the fire was that like, if you don't come with me, you won't ever learn to focus your power. So in some level, Giovanni did do what he was telling Mewtwo he would do, but obviously with the intent of never letting Mewtwo go.
Well, and then when the grasshopper surpassed the master, he was like, I don't need you.
Yep.
I don't need this Power Ranger suit.
Yep.
And he shed his suit, and that's when it kind of cuts to our friends.
Yeah.
Ash and Brock and Misty and Pikachu and Togepi and their Pokemon.
Yep.
Which I loved. I loved that because it's like total night and day, because it's like when we were focusing on Mewtwo only, they do a good job of like representing the power and the almost villain aspect, because the colors are like dark and gloomy and the music is tense. And then we go to our kiddos that we've been following on our anime journey, and it's bright and sunny, and there's flowers, and the music is happy, and Togepi's going Togepi, and it's cute.
And Ash has no energy to do anything helpful.
Nope, he doesn't.
Brock is making his lazy boy no chew stew.
Yep.
Which the food that Brock makes always looks so good.
It does look good. Even the Poke food looks good.
So naturally, a Pokemon trainer who we noted looks kind of like a prototype for Team Aqua. But with a red cap instead of the blue bandana, comes to challenge Ash, which suddenly gets Ash pumped full of energy to have a Pokemon battle.
And we see our next Gen 2 Pokemon, which is
Donphin. Yeah.
Donphin, which I said when you were like, another Gen 2. I was like, no, that's Rhyhorn. He's just Mega Evolved.
Yeah, you were very funny about it. So they have a battle to the Pokemon theme song, kind of remixed in a really cool way.
In a very 90s cool kid way.
Yep. Where we get to see Ash show off his Pokemon battling skills with like Bulbasaur and Pikachu and Squirtle.
Yep.
So much so that flying overhead is
but before that, the kid even tries to cheat.
Yes, he does.
He throws every Pokemon he has, and Pikachu just zaps him at the end. And that's also where Team Rocket enters the chat, because they see Ash. They're probably trying to get Pikachu for the 50th, 100th, billionth time. Team Rocket is in this film, which is always a pleasure to see them and their shenanigans. But then, go ahead.
And so we see flying overhead a Dragonite with a little camera on it, and it cuts to it cuts to somebody, which we all know, Mewtwo, sitting in a tower watching the video, and he does something to make Dragonite fly down and deliver a letter with a mysterious woman who Brock points out that she's beautiful and that he feels like he's seen her before.
He says I feel like I've seen her somewhere before. That's strange.
Yeah.
The whole vibe is very Princess Leia, right?
Yes.
Like there's a hologram, and not Leia tells them, my master has invited you to a gathering. Only the strongest trainers. We want you to come to this gathering. And I also made a note, like when Dragonite's flying, when he is flying and when he's like there playing like this epic like adventure music almost. kind of showing us, hey, an adventure is about to unfold for sure. But yeah, she invites him to this gathering. So like, of course, Ash being Ash is like, we going.
Yeah,
We're going
absolutely.
to this party. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a tough trainer and I want to go.
He got invited.
Right.
Yeah.
But then Team Rocket.
My favorite scene in the entire movie.
They're so nosy. They're like, hold on, Dragonite.
He's just a insanely fast, bulky, strong, flying type Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or flying Pokemon. And Team Rocket.
Team Rocket pulls a Rapunzel and stops him with a frying
With
pan.
a frying pan.
They just hold the pan up, and Dragonite is head first, and he's still flapping. He's trying to go, and somehow Jesse, James, and Meowth
Little
are able to
Meowth holding
stop
on to the legs.
stop a
It's so
dragon.
funny.
It's so funny and very anime, but
Yeah.
it's so cute. They stop baby mid-flight though.
They do.
He determined.
He headbutts that pan.
Yep.
It's great.
Which is so funny because like if Mewtwo's watching, he's probably like, "What the heck are these guys?"
That's true. I never
and
thought
maybe
about
they
that.
need to come if they're strong enough to beat Dragonite with a pan.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's how they get invited to
Mm-hmm.
the gathering. And then we get to see just a glimpse of baby Mew.
We do.
Yeah. So we get to see Mew and it's
It's very much like it's like he senses a disturbance in the force.
he does. This is why is this all Star Wars?
It
That's
might
kind
be.
of that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Mew has sensed something and is heading off on his own little adventure to see what's going on.
Yep.
And Mewtwo starts to
Summon up
build a storm.
Yep.
And it's kind of creepy. Again, like the music is creepy and the motions are creepy because they're very like passive power.
He does it. He
Scary.
creates basically a hurricane with a wave of his hand.
And he's creating a very dangerous storm with his fingies. And and it's I think it's just really striking. Like that is when I think you can see Mew might be like the most powerful mythical Pokemon up to this point. But Mew and Mewtwo's legendary, but Mew and Mewtwo are so strikingly different.
Yeah.
Even though they're clones, they are very different personalities. They're pretty different looks wise. They're very different how they respond to things. Like it's just crazy how did we get Mewtwo from Mew? And the answer is just like life is
Genetic
hard
cloning
and
and
genetic
stuff.
cloning.
Yep.
Yeah. But Mew is so cute and pure. And then Mewtwo's just making his storm and being all angry
Yep.
with his fingies.
And so the storm comes in. Our crew comments on it, talking about where did the storm come from. They have to make it into the shipyard, the dockyard to get on a boat.
And that's where they find everyone else is kind of hiding out because
Yeah.
no one's been able to leave. And that includes Officer Jenny and what did you call her? The shipyard captain?
The dock captain. We thought based on her looks that she was who's the dragon trainer from Gen 2? Claire?
She looks very Claire-esque.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does.
But she's not. But she's like a dock captain. She's a shipyard manager.
And she's the creepiest
Harbor master, I think
harbor
is what I called
master.
her.
She's the creepiest harbor master known to man.
She really is. She talks about like a ancient storm that nearly wiped out the planet in mythology and things like that. And it's a weird bit of scene because it's kind of a throwaway line almost because we don't ever talk about it again until it ends. So it's really just like a weird thing. But we learn in this bit when they're in the dock, we learn no one can go to the Pokemon Center because the Nurse Joy for the Pokemon Center has been missing.
Which when Brock sees the missing poster, he comments again about how familiar the missing poster is.
Yeah, for Nurse Joy.
Which you could laugh at if you're watching because all of the Nurse Joys look the same.
Yes, all of the Nurse Joys look the same and all of the Officer Jennies look the same. It's a common joke. They're all cousins or twins or sisters or whatever.
Oh, you mean my cousin,
Yeah.
Jenny and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie very much pulls one of those you can tell who the not main character but who the important characters are because there's a lot of people, Pokemon trainers in this doc, all trying to get somewhere, but clearly some of them stand out a little bit. And the harbor master is like, no, there's no boats. We can't send anyone out in this storm. And so these Pokemon trainers, much like how we picked some Pokemon for our real life teams because we wanted to either travel or fly or whatever, are like, I don't care. I've got Pokemon with me. We'll just swim across. We'll just fly across.
Yep.
And so they
risk their lives.
They risk their lives doing that. And the harbor master comments about how like, oh, you know, they're Pokemon trainers. They'll do it just because that's part of the adventure. That's part of being a trainer, being brave.
She's so dramatic.
She's very dramatic. And of course, Ash and Misty and Brock, they don't have any Pokemon that are strong enough. They've just got Squirtle and Staryu and Psyduck, which is useless. And Brock,
harsh, but okay.
Brock doesn't have any, because he's the rock type trainer, doesn't have any Pokemon that can get through the water. So they're kind of left without an option until the goofiest disguise, until some unknown, but definitely not Team Rocket, actual Vikings appear. And for those of you that appreciate a good for all the parents in the audience back when this movie came out,
that appreciate a good football joke, when someone in the group comments like, "Oh, Vikings," they're like, "Yeah, they mostly live in Minnesota."
Yeah, I think Brock says like, "I didn't know there were Vikings anymore," and Ash is
they mostly live in Minnesota.
Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I said good job, American translators. But yeah, so they dress up as Vikings with their Viking ship, and Meowth is like the Viking mermaid on the front of the boat.
I don't remember what it's called, and clearly a live Meowth.
Yeah,
like it's so their costumes are so bad,
and yet they work all the time. They offer to ferry them across, which I don't know if you know this, but during a hurricane, a little Viking boat is probably not going to be good enough. So inevitably, that does not work out. They all end up in the ocean. Meowth, Jessie, and James, I think, live by holding on to Weezing, maybe?
I think so. Or they
get blasted off again.
No, I think they literally just... I don't think the movie ever actually explains it. I think it's assumed
they just
that
get washed up somehow.
Washed up onto the building.
Ash and Misty release a couple of their Pokemon to at least have something, and it's treacherous.
It is. It's very difficult for them to make it through.
But they do make it, and then we get to see some intense 1999, 1998 graphics of the coolest windmill you'll ever see around.
Yeah. It's
very like new age looking. They get to this the island that they're heading towards, which has this mysterious like windmill topped palace tower type thing. It just looks like a villain castle, basically. Yeah. And then a creepy
the lady from the invitation.
The lady from the invitation comes up to them, greets them, says, "My master is ready to see you." Brock gets a good look at her and says, "Wait a minute. I do know you.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you Nurse Joy?" And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I've always lived here." And she's very robotic. She's very like clearly in some kind of trance. Not a lot of feeling there. During this movie, until he actually makes his appearance to Team Rocket a little bit and then to Mewtwo, you see Mew in bits and pieces. And this is where it kind of cuts to, I think, what is our favorite scene,
the cutest
which is
scene.
Mew playing on the windmill.
The juxtapose of Mewtwo versus Mew. Mewtwo creating a huge storm, wanting to battle everything. Power matters most. Mew floats up and is like, "Windmill," and sits on it, lets it raise him, and then drops and sits on the next wheel,
and he
giggles, and it's a cute time. They throughout the movie they sprinkle these scenes where you like see that Mew is just a ball.
He's just innocent and sweet, yeah, and he's just very like easily entertained, and he likes the simple things in life, and like you pointed out several times, he's kind of a little bit of a menace.
He's a little bit of a jerk.
Yeah, because he likes to
play with
things. Yeah, but it's super cute. I also pointed out, I don't know why I pointed it out on this scene specifically, but I'm very pleased to announce to the world that Pikachu in this movie is still a chonk.
He is still chonky.
As
He's still
he should be.
Chonkachu. Yeah.
how dare you slim my Pikachu down? He is perfect the way he is.
Yeah.
It goes back to Team Rocket. So once they do get washed up, they're still like, okay, we got to get in there though. This is a cool looking place. So I wonder what's going on. We got to get inside.
Yep.
And so they go in through the sewage
Yeah.
tunnels.
What it can only be assumed as the sewage tunnels.
And I cackled because Meowth's like, ew, I don't want to go with that. Jesse's like, pretend you're a catfish. Which is so good. I don't know why, but they do try to sneak in. So it shows briefly Team Rocket trying to sneak into the building. We noticed, well, I guess you already knew it, that there is an error in the English version, at least.
Yeah.
Where there is clearly a Pidgeot, because they walk into Ash and Misty and Brock.
They walk into like the foyer.
Yeah, like the grand
castle.
hall or
Yeah.
something. And there's 3 trainers that made it along with them. There's 2 guys and one girl that we saw at the harbor that were determined to make it there, and they did make it with all of their Pokemon.
And these, in this scene where they're like introducing each other, they're introducing themselves, each of them, so we know Ash has Charizard, one of them has a Venusaur, one of them has a Blastoise, and the other one has a Gyarados, because there's not a 4th starter, but he needs like something to be cool.
And all of their Pokemon are out. Like they're hanging out in the Great Hall with all of their Pokemon.
Yeah.
So then Ash and
Brock and Misty.
Well, Misty doesn't let all of hers out because they're water, but they let a lot of their Pokemon out to say hello to the crowd. And then while they're all waiting and talking and kind of speculating, Mewtwo makes his grand entrance. I said, "Beam me down, Scotty."
Yeah, very much.
There's this strange like rounded slide thing, almost that like I literally was like, I wish I could ride that.
It's like
when I was a kid.
It's like a ramped spiral staircase.
It's very
is the only
strange
way to describe it.
And Mewtwo just kind of descends down the center of that because it spirals way up.
It's huge.
Up the whole tower, I think. And he kind of descends down from that.
And we meet Mewtwo for the first time. He introduces himself to the group of people. He lets the Nurse Joy, who we find out is confirmed, not just Brock's opinion, confirmed Nurse Joy. He says, "I have no use for you anymore." Lets his mind control of her go.
And she has like almost like a covering over her head and her hair. And when that falls, you can clearly see it's Nurse Joy because she's got the red hair and the little piggy hoops.
Yeah.
When Mewtwo enters and starts to
monologue.
Yeah, totally villain monologue and explain himself. It does cut back to Meowth and Mew kind of seeing each other, but like Mew is still he is being a full menace right now.
Yeah.
So he's kind of playing like
he like
peekaboo.
Disappears randomly and Meowth's like, "What?" And then turns back around. It's almost like he has to second double take himself because he sees Mew, looks away, and then he's like, "Wait a second," and then turns back around.
He's kind of playing with Meowth, but they're making their way through the sewers. We confirm Brock catches her because she falls once he releases her. Brock runs and catches.
Oh yes, Nurse Joy. Yes.
Yep. And there's actually, I can't believe you didn't mention this. I, as a horror fan, panicked when it happened. There was this creepy moment before he released her where Mewtwo and Nurse Joy were talking at the same time.
Yeah, their voiceovers were going the same.
So creepy.
Yeah,
Very scary movie, guys. Very scary. Very spooky season of Us.
Yes.
But yeah, so there's like that creepy moment. She falls, and then Mewtwo's basically just, at this point, he's not really explaining anything to them yet, but he's just picking at them.
And the Pokemon trainers, so one of the 4, if you count Ash, one of the 4 made Pokemon trainers that were invited there, that got there, is a all water type Pokemon trainer. He has he's the one that with a Gyarados. He complains that like, oh, a Pokemon can't be a Pokemon trainer, and like sends his Gyarados to fight Mewtwo because Mewtwo's like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, and Gyarados gets taken out, just wiped the floor with.
Misty's like, you're just a bully.
Yeah.
You're not a powerful trainer. You're just a big bully.
Yeah, and then Mewtwo basically challenges the trainers to a competition. He makes a challenge to them, says, "How about we have a one-on-one? I'll face each of you 1v1. they get ready for battle. And while they're doing that,
Team Rocket finally has made their way fully inside, but they're in, because they came in through the sewer, they're in a different part of the tower from everyone else. And they walk into this room that's filled with equipment, monitors everywhere, and these test tube looking things everywhere, which we know is similar to how the movie started with Mewtwo in the lab.
Yeah.
So clearly Mewtwo's cooking up some lab work himself. And Meowth find the monitor that has like a recording, I think, of that try to figure out where they are and what's going on. They watch it. It explains Pokemon cloning.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Which you got frustrated with, because you were like, it's clearly taken during the time that Mewtwo started his attack at the beginning of the movie and before the end of the attack, which was seconds that he took to blow up everything. Yeah. But somehow Fuji made
recorded
this whole
the whole
recording
thing.
about what's happening and why they were doing their thing.
It was like, if anyone can hear this, we're getting beaten down over here.
It was really strange.
But yeah, so they learned about cloning, and they're like shocked, like what is going on? And then a little gripper comes out and tries to get Meowth, but he still ends up getting
a
fur
literally
hair,
a single hair from Meowth,
and is able to clone a Meowth. And when he goes through the machine, it shows the silhouette of Meowth, and Jesse and James both go, "Who's that Pokemon?"
Yeah,
it's
cute.
Meowth, and it's a very cute reference to anime.
Yeah. Jesse, James, and Meowth notice, because they see the cloning process take place, and a little Meowth come down a tube. There's many of these tubes, and they see in the tubes a painted version of Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur.
Yeah, so there's clearly some shenanigans going on in this lab. But I think why don't we take a quick break, and then we will jump back into the heated battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Go drink some nasty Earl Grey tea. And we're back.
We're back.
We are back.
And we are getting into some more Mewtwo stuff.
Some deep, dark tower stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, so Meowth was created. That was a cute scene, kind of a little creepy.
A little creepy.
Clone Meowth is still in the test tubes. And then, so we see the clones. We see Meowth, Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. So it goes back to the Great Hall. And Mewtwo is still antagonizing the trainers, right? He's still trying to do some smack talking in the Great Hall. And he says, well, just like any other trainer, I started out with Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. So let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And he does whatever psychic thing he does to trigger this. But anyway, the grossest part of the movie happens, and the clones leave the test tubes, and they don't smash out of them like Mewtwo did. No. The bottoms of the test tubes are made of some kind of organic matter.
It's a little gross.
And they just kind of sponge out of them.
Yeah, imagine that you like walked through a wall of Jell-O. That's kind of the idea. But the Jell-O stayed formed. But it like clearly you could tell that you were walking out of it. It's kind of gross.
It's very like sci-fi.
Yeah,
like it's yucky. So the Venusaur, the Charizard, and the Blastoise that Mewtwo summoned have made their way out, and they're very obviously his versions.
Yeah,
of
they're all
those
painted
Pokemon,
up
because they have little markings all over them. And then the dumbest line in the movie. I guess they see the Pokemon trainers, the four of them all see what Pokemon he has.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, fine, we'll go Pokemon for Pokemon.
Yep.
We'll do Venusaur against Venusaur, Blastoise against Blastoise, and Charizard against Charizard.
So the Venusaur trainer, the trainer for Blastoise, is like, I've got Shell Shocker. And the Venusaur trainer, I always thought it was Fruit, but I just looked it up. It's Brute Root.
Brute Root.
Brute Root is, he goes, oh, well, I've got Brute Root, the Venusaur.
Which is an interesting name for a Venusaur, but is a terrible name for baby Bulba.
Yes,
so has he always been Brute Root?
Yeah, I'd guess so.
Maybe he went to the name changer.
And then the funniest line to you in the whole movie.
Yes, this epic stance that only Ash can do with his little hat, and he's a little Pokeball in his hand. He goes, he may not have a nickname, but I do have Charizard. And it's like...
It's so funny.
But Shell Shocker is such a
Shell
great
Shocker's
name.
a great, and I kind of like Brute Root for Venusaur.
That's an interesting name.
It's a good, I like it a lot. It's almost, it's like he thinks about it for a moment. He's like, man, I really should have nicknamed my Pokemon. It's so funny.
It's terrible. So Mewtwo and the trainer start the battle. So Mewtwo takes out Venusaur. He takes out Blastoise. And then I have House of Dragons Season 3 happens with the Charizards because they had a much longer battle, of course, because it's Ash's Charizard.
Yeah, he gave up more of a fight.
Right. And he's spunky. He does, and he don't listen.
I love too when he comes out, Ash lets him out and he does his like classic Charizard, like, and then like spits fire.
They all put on a fight, and and Charizard especially. They put on the best fight that they can, but the clones really are just, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more, their defense must be a lot higher. It really is night and day comparisons.
From a game perspective, for you competition fans out there, it's like their Pokemon have 0 IVs and EVs, and these Pokemon are max IVs and EVs.
Anyways, so they take him down. The Venusaur, the Blastoise, the Charizard all lose. And if that's not devastating enough, then Mewtwo reveals his grand plan to them, which is that he thinks humans are the problem.
Yep.
Rightly so. I would assume this too if I was in their place. I think Misty says, so you hate all humans, or Brock does, one of them does. You hate all humans, so you're going to wipe us out. And then what will you do with our Pokemon? And Mewtwo's like, no, I think you misunderstand. Your Pokemon are going out too.
Yeah. And I'm gonna
make these rock stars behind me. I'm gonna make them of your Pokemon. That's why I brought you here, as to prove that I'm strong and to take your Pokemon and clone them. And I don't want anything to do with your Pokemon because they are subservient to you.
Yeah.
And they're weak.
And it's a complex thing because Mewtwo is a clone and he knows it. Mm-hmm. He knows that he's a clone of Mew. And so he's mad, not just at humans, but he's mad at the original Pokemon. He doesn't think it's fair. He doesn't think it's right. He thinks that they are inferior.
He thinks they're inferior, and he thinks that the fact that they partner with their humans makes them weak and makes them almost Cyrus kind of, because he's like he thinks their emotions are worthless, basically. Their feelings are worthless. And Ash even, I think, says, but they're my partners, they're my friends, or
they're not
or
just
whatever.
Tools. He says that they use them as tools. Yeah,
they're equal, and and Mewtwo's just, I don't see it that way. And then the original Team Snag'em member, Mewtwo, starts shadow Pokemon, catching all these Pokemon, and he sends out kind of these creepy looking, almost robotic looking Master Balls.
They look like if Yu-Gi-Oh! Played Pokemon.
Yeah, the Millennium Puzzle Master Balls come out.
Yeah.
And they start snatching all these Pokemon left and right out of the air because these Pokeballs are just flying through the air. There's so many of them. There's way more balls than there are Pokemon. Probably because Mewtwo
takes no chances,
but probably because he anticipated more trainers coming.
Probably.
Maybe, even though he concocted the storm. Anyways.
That was part of a test to...
That's true, to see who is actually the strongest. This is the first time that I cried during the movie because for some reason Vileplume's face hurt my feelings.
It did.
Because she was so scared.
She was.
And I was like, Galutrad was making fun of me because I was like, she's so scared. And I was crying. And he's like, okay, it's going to be, you've seen this movie, right? Several times. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started crying. But anyways, they're taking all these Pokemon and
Ash has the bright idea to put them into...
Ash, which, good for Ash.
Yeah.
He tries, Misty drawstrings up Togepi.
Shout out to Misty, the only one who's smart, because the only Pokemon that doesn't get captured in this way is Togepi. And it's because Misty puts Togepi in her backpack.
Yep. She just hides Togepi in the drawstring bag. Also, Togepi is so little. I don't Mewtwo's probably like, I don't need that. Based off of the
upcoming stuff, I'd wager that the from like a non-movie perspective, from a making the movie perspective, probably didn't want to have Togepi fighting Togepi. That'd be really sad.
Yeah, it would be so sad.
Their little arms just...
know, I hate this. But yeah, so Ash tries to put Bulbasaur and Squirtle into their Pokeballs. He's like, they can't catch them if they're in their Pokeballs, and he does it, and the things catch the Pokeballs.
Yeah, they do. They just grab the Pokeball. Included.
So of course there's this horribly sad but epic scene of Pikachu avoiding these.
Little dude, even Chonky just gets. He's quick as lightning.
Chonky Chew's quick.
Yeah,
it's this crazy scene where Ash is trying to protect Pikachu, of course, because all of his other it's just Pikachu left, and Pikachu's obviously his starter. It's his buddy.
Yeah.
And so Ash is like trying to fight them off, and Pikachu's trying to fight them off. Pikachu's running. Ash is encouraging Pikachu. Pikachu is able to zap them and stop them, but there's just so many of them.
Well, and going back to that weird spiral staircase.
He's running up.
He starts running because they're running around this castle trying to avoid these balls. He starts running up this spiral staircase, which is he slips a couple times. Pikachu does, and Ash, because it's not actually a staircase. It's like a ramp thing.
Like a slide.
And he just gets exhausted. He gets tired from running and basically max thunderbolting these balls constantly.
And when he finally does fall and he gets caught inevitably, Ash, genius that he is.
I was going to say Pikachu falls off of the staircase trying to dodge these balls. Ash then sees Pikachu falling, and Ash was running up the staircase behind him, jumps after Pikachu. Pikachu eventually gets caught.
And then Ash grabs the ball.
And lands in a pool of water and then loses it again.
He ends up grabbing it and basically jumping down. Ash has no fear of
not when it comes to Pikachu.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely loved his other Pokemon too, but Pikachu, like you said, that is basically his child.
Yeah.
So
he jumps into he follows the scary Master Balls into this chute.
Yep.
And he has no idea what's down there, where he's going, anything. He just knows he has to save Pikachu.
And a very cool moment for Ash too, because it's not like he's angry.
Yeah.
He yells while he's sliding down the chute after the ball. You're not going to take my Pikachu. Yeah. And it's a cool moment for Ash.
Yeah.
He plays it up a bit.
He does. And so, now is where I think there's less cutscenes, right? Because it's now we're all about to be united, a united front, because we're following the main characters, which are Mewtwo and Ash and Pikachu in his Master Ball, and all of these other Pokemon that just got stolen are making their way to Team Rocket in the cloning lab.
Yes.
And they're getting cloned actively. It's going through the cloning machine. And while Pikachu, who is the last one to have been caught, is getting pulled into the cloning machine, Ash is ripping all these claws that were trying to grab Meowth. First, he's ripping them all up and tearing this machine up.
He bites one.
But
before that happens, I did want to comment that Team Rocket, who's standing there watching all this happen, they're like, the twerp, because that's what they call him, and Ash is like, I don't have time for your stupid slogan today. And he just keeps going. That's funny to me, sorry. But so he's fighting it to get Pikachu out.
He's fighting it to get Pikachu out, but the clones are still being made, and while the clones are going by, we hear another error.
Yes.
Which is there is clearly on the screen a Scyther, and for some reason Team Rocket goes Alakazam.
Yeah.
Because they're still playing Who's That Pokemon.
Yeah. And they get most of them right up to that point.
Yeah. Which we're both like, that was not an Alakazam. Yeah. Ash gets Pikachu out, and by doing so, breaks the machine, and now all of these Pokemon that have been cloned, they're able to come out of their balls. The Squirtle and Bulbasaur, even, it shows the Pokeball coming out and then them coming out, because Ash has rickety wrecked this whole thing.
Yeah, and there's sirens going off. The cloned Pokemon are auto cloning and ejecting out of this thing the same way the 3 Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise clones did. So just a mass clone army is being created.
Poor Jesse and James are really, what is going on? Because they are totally out of their element, and there's even this one part where Totacruel kind of creeps up on them a little bit, and I said Totacruel just wants a hug, Jesse. Don't be scared. But they're just surrounded by suddenly all of these Pokemon. So we know all the clones are made. We know that all of the Pokemon that the original Pokemon are free and
Yeah,
good.
they're safe.
So now we go back to the Great Hall, which now has everybody in it except for Ash and Pikachu and the Pokemon.
The original Pokemon.
The
Because
original
Mewtwo's
Pokemon.
clone army has somehow made it up to him.
Well, we see them come out.
Yeah.
We see them come out behind him. He's still monologuing the
Yep.
whole time. He just monologues. That's what he do. That's what he do.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you hear this boom in the distance, and just when you thought it was over for all of these people, Ash comes in with his army of not clones.
Backwards cap.
I think he says something cool like, "We're not going to let you do this, Mewtwo," or something like that.
I think it's Mewtwo's monologuing, and Ash says, "No, Mewtwo, I won't let you." And
It's something like that. And then with Ash, finally,
Yep.
Mew.
Yeah.
Mew comes in, and Mewtwo is like, "Ugh, you're here," like gross. And I loved again the dynamic. I love it because Mewtwo literally says, he's like, "Are you afraid to find out which of us is greater?" And Mew's just like, "I like bubbles.
Yeah, he's
They're
like
fun
looking
and bouncy."
around like, what's that over there? Whoa, what's going on? Looking up into the sky and
He's
just being so goofy.
He's like a toddler. He's
not
just so
paying
cute.
attention. And there's a quote from one of the writers for this film that talked about how like they wrote Mew that way because they want to point out that like Mew is kind of a jerk, even though he's cutesy, because he's like, Mewtwo's very clearly upset and talking to him and like angry with him. And Mew's just like, I don't even care. Like it has no time for him. It's very funny. He's very like goblin like almost.
He's a little gremlin.
Yeah.
And then we also see in the scene, I think when Ash first walks out and it shows all of the Pokemon kind of behind him, you pointed out an animation error.
Yeah, there's a very famous animation error
Yep.
with Rapidash. For a brief frame, Rapidash's fire disappears.
He's flameless.
Flameless
Yeah,
Rapidash,
normal horse.
just normal horse, and then it comes back. It's so quick that if you were watching the movie and not looking right at Rapidash, you probably wouldn't.
Oh, I
notice
never,
it.
until you pointed out this
Yeah.
time, I never noticed
Yeah.
it. So
But it's a very famous frame error for that. And then Ash angry with Mewtwo and like not wanting Mewtwo to know that he's not as good as he is. Gutsy kid decides that he's going to haul off and
yeah, he
try
punches
to
him,
deck
doesn't he?
Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Well, he tries to, and Mewtwo flicks him away up into the rafters of this castle. And then Mew and Mewtwo are kind of like talking because Mew eventually does acknowledge Mewtwo and is like going Mew, 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 Mew. And
Meowth kind of translates for us that Mew is like, we don't have to fight. Like
Yeah.
we don't have to do what we're doing right now. Like I don't want to fight you, but I will.
Yeah. If I have to.
If I have to. And so Mewtwo, I guess like sticks the like the clones are ready to go.
Yeah.
The clones are ready to fight. And Mewtwo basically like encourages them to do that because Mewtwo and Mew start to fight. And the other Pokemon basically search out their whatever they were cloned from.
He's so sure of his clones being better that he says, fine, I will use some of my psychic power to suppress all of the clones' extra clone power.
So it's toe to toe.
So it's toe to toe and
Yep.
prove to you that we are better than you.
Yep.
So now all of the Pokemon are on the same ground, like the same power level, and it becomes a battle between each of the clone Pokemon.
The saddest battle ever.
Yeah, with the saddest song ever.
It starts like as soon as it starts going, brother, my brother. We both were like,
Yeah, that was when I started tearing up a little bit because I was just like, oh, it's so sad to see all of them fighting.
instant waterworks.
Except I started to tear up during the fight, and then it cuts to, so it's like going through each of the Pokemon couples, I guess, Charizard versus Charizard. And then in the middle of all of that, perfectly timed, it cuts me out of actually crying because it goes to Psyduck and one of them slaps the other one and they both go sigh, and then the other one slaps back and then they go duck. And that's the whole bit. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're
Comic
pretty
relief,
silly.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it literally just shows them like these two of each Pokemon like being pitted against each other, and Pikachu, sweet baby Pikachu, does not want to fight. And I don't think necessarily any of the Pokemon want to fight, but they're being attacked, so they're going to fight back.
Yeah, I think it's just
I think Pikachu is just so
he's so in tune with Ash.
Yeah. And he doesn't want this. And so while the rest of them are kind of fighting each other, Pikachu is just letting the grumpy Pikachu clone like wail on him. Yeah. And it's really hard. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, it is. And Ash is like making his way down. He's dodging psychic blasts from Mew and Mewtwo because they're going at it. All of the Pokemon are going at it. Pikachu is refusing to fight the clone Pikachu. Meowth has a moment with his Pokemon.
Cute, very cute moment that we quote all the time because we're silly.
The other Meowth comes up to the regular Meowth that we all know and love, and they claw, and then they're like, they're also the only ones who don't fight because they're both like, what are we doing? And that's on purpose from the film's perspective because Meowth can translate the feelings of the Pokemon for us. And Meowth has that great quote that we quote all the time where he talks about how they're the same Pokemon. They breathe the same air. They live under the same earth, same air, same sky. And they talk about how it's not fair to fight. Ash finally makes his way down.
And then Misty says, like, they're just looking at the chaos and they're just like, this is a fight nobody is going to win.
Yeah.
And Ash sees Pikachu
just beaten down. But he says somebody has to take a stand. Somebody has to say this is wrong. And he, inspired by his buddy, he goes and he takes off charging to Mew and Mewtwo and gets caught right in their blast. Yeah, they both send a blast to the center of the stage. Ash gets hit by it.
And he almost he falls in the summary. He almost like turns to stone.
Yeah.
Like I think part of that is it's family friendly, right?
Yes.
So it's like they want to show that he is in grave peril.
That he might not come back.
Right. But they can't graphically do so.
Yeah.
So he kind of almost like the color is drained from his whole design, not just his skin, but his clothes,
his hat, everything.
Yeah, so he almost looks like a stone figure. He's just kind of gray there. And obviously that immediately hurts Pikachu. Just devastated.
Yeah, it stops all the battle.
All of it
because everyone's
stops.
like, whoa. And Mewtwo stops. He's like, you stupid boy. Like he doesn't get it yet still. And Pikachu is clearly upset.
Oh,
goes over to him.
So heartbroken.
It starts crying. Little teardrops fall on the stone Ash.
He's trying to zap him.
Yes, that's right. He starts by zapping him.
Yeah.
And I pointed out to you that I don't remember if it was fan done or if they like released information about this, but Meowth can talk. Pikachu can't. Somewhere at some point in time, the information got out that Pikachu actually does have a language that can be translated. And when he is saying Pika-P, he is saying Satoshi or Ash. Satoshi is the Japanese name for Ash. And I pointed out to you that when that moment is happening, when Pikachu is like, he's exhausted from getting beaten up. He's exhausted from trying to shock Ash back into life. He's crying, and all of the Pokemon around him start to cry, and you can see their tears going towards Ash's body. And the whole time it's so heartbreaking knowing, like, it makes it so much worse knowing Pikachu's language, because the whole time he's just going Pika-P, Pika-P, like just so sad, until finally
Trying to wake him up. Like Simba to Mufasa.
Yep. Until finally the tears kind of mystically floating from the Pokemon through the sky to Ash's body.
Yeah, all of the Pokemon are moved to tears
Yep.
over this, because they've taken a moment. They know the love that they have for their trainers. And they feel Pikachu's pain and they cry, and power of friendship and love.
And the final teardrop comes from Pikachu.
Comes from Pikachu himself.
And lands on Ash's cheek in stone form. Mm-hmm. And that magically...
Yep, power of friendship wakes him up. Heart of the cards.
Wakes him up. Yep.
So Ash is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just cry the whole time. The whole time. From the beginning of the battle of the clones, when they're hurting each other, to the end where Ash awakens, I'm just a mess, a wreck.
Yeah.
And then finally, that is finally what makes Mewtwo wake up and smell the coffee and get on the same page as everybody else. He has a complete change of heart. And he says one of I think the most famous quotes, I know we talked about a couple quotes already, but I think one of the most famous quotes, which is, "I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are." And boy, is that the truth. Yeah,
which if I ever am going to get a tattoo of words, it will either be my favorite quote from Link's Awakening, which is, "But verily it be the nature of dreams to end," or that, which is long, but like it's so profound. Yeah. Yeah. For a Pokemon movie.
Yeah. So Mewtwo realizes the error of his ways, but now it's like, what do? We've got all these clones. We've got this mess that he basically has created, and he thinks the best thing to do is to take the clones somewhere with Mew's help, and find a safe place for them to live and thrive, and where they can just be themselves and not be like studied or something like that. And he Men in Blacks the group, wipes their memories, and then just and maybe some time travel. It's so weird.
The gang, all of the people that were there,
yep,
and all the Pokemon except for the clones and Mew
end up safely
back at the harbor. The
yep,
storm is gone. They all remember that the storm was happening, but then don't remember why they were all foggy there.
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing. Ash and the gang go out onto the dock to look up at the sky, and Ash talks about how at the start of his journey,
he sees Mew.
He sees Mew flying past into the clouds for a very brief moment, and Brock and Misty are like, "What's going on, Ash?"
It's actually very reflective of their friendship and cute, because he says, at the beginning of the journey, I thought I saw a legendary Pokemon or a powerful Pokemon or a great Pokemon,
which was Ho-Oh, that we know.
And I think I just saw one again. And Misty says, "Well, maybe you're seeing things." And he goes, "Maybe." And Brock says, "Well, maybe he didn't." And he goes, "Ha, maybe." And he goes, "Maybe we'll see."
Yeah.
And it's just really cute. It's just very like, Misty's like always poking fun at him. Brock is like
trying to support him,
more supportive, and Ash is just like optimistic and adorable.
That's such a great,
cute little thing.
It is.
Well, maybe we'll see.
And maybe we'll see what happens next time on an episode of Another Pokemon Podcast.
Oh my gosh! Even though clearly we have pointed out there's some flaws or just some drama, anime strangeness, but it's just such a good story. It has such good morals of power is not everything, like being kind is still important, and a value friendship. The whole it's not due to the circumstances of one's birth, it's what you make of the gift of life. Like, there's some really good morals here, and it will always be a cherished movie for me.
Yeah.
And I think you feel the same way.
I do. So. Absolutely. It's a kid's movie, but there's still something there, even as an adult, to watch and enjoy and to learn from.
Yeah. I think the world could use a reminder that kindness is a good value anyway. So yeah, on that sort of sweet, sort of sad note,
somber,
it's just very it ends happy, right? Because the team is all back together and everything's fine, and we assume that all the Pokemon that Mewtwo took are being taken care of. But obviously it's just like there's so much like bittersweetness in the movie, melancholy a little bit.
Yeah, it's a movie that makes you think about the time that you have and how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On that note, if you have some opinions about Pokemon the first movie, if you have a fun story to share about the first time you saw it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more of that.
Oh my God, I would love that. If you're an old millennial like us and you
or young,
or
the first
not.
time you saw it,
yeah.
If you're younger than us and just you saw it later.
Yeah.
Just the first time you experienced the first movie.
Yeah, or if you want to go, if this inspired you to go watch it, if you've never watched it before, we highly encourage you to. It's a great standalone movie. You do not have to watch the whole Indigo League to know what's going on. It's just a cute movie.
Yeah.
If you want to share those thoughts with us, you can find us anywhere you're listening to us right now or on any social media at Another PKMN Pod. And then if you specifically want to remind Galutrad that Ho-Oh is the least favorite legendary in the JoJo series, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad. That's Galutrad. And Bex, where can they find you?
If you want to find me and tell me how awesome Lugia is, you can find me at Rebellity anywhere on the internet. I'm mostly on X and TikTok. And then if you want to reach out to my Instagram, I am I_am_rebellity. I have noticed a couple new followers on Instagram. I've noticed a little likes on the story. Mm-hmm. And we love to interact with you. We tell us your favorite parts of this movie. Tell us some other movies you want us to rate. I'm sure we're probably going to go in chronological order and do like 2000.
At least for the first three, I think.
3 or 4. Yeah, forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the most important movies to me personally.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with jumping around on the later ones.
I feel like you might have. I have not seen every movie. I have seen all of the first 4.
I believe that I have not seen all. I think there's like 1 or 2 that I haven't seen. Okay.
We watched the last Pokemon movie that you and I watched together that was newer was the Zora-Aura one. Yeah. Which was so cute.
It was.
So we're looking forward to doing more of these movie reviews, and we will see you all in 2 weeks for the next episode. Yep. So until then, reach out, leave us some feedback, leave us a 5-star review. And we'll see you then.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks, trainers.
Bye. Get out.
Get out of here.
I wonder if they feel clonesome.